Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to Mr. Anello's Tiny House and our tiny keyboard theory lesson number 5. So, it's rather a moody and introspective day here on the outskirts of Fort Atkinson. Don't know what it's like where you are, but hope the sun is shining. Well, today we are going to be talking about 7th chords, making a 7th chord. Now, some people get a little confused, so we're going to talk about the two different things when somebody says 7th chord. Make sure that we get clear on what we are talking about in this instance. It's going to help lead us to where we go next. So, just a little bit of review. We'll aim back down here toward the keyboard. Just a little bit of a review. Yesterday we were talking about, we had done our 4-octave crossing hands, arpeggiated major chords. And then I asked you to work on using your left hand as an octave, and then playing the 3rd and the 5th with your middle finger and your pinky of your right hand. And then I also told you to move that hand a little bit farther up into the keys. It will help because I want you to put your thumb down on that C just like you were when we were making the arpeggiated chords, okay? You'll find that that probably is helping you as you're doing this. And so we were doing around the circle of fifths, but using an octave in our left hand, and again the 3rd and the 5th in our right. So, what am I talking about with 7th chords? Well, let's go back to the key of C, because remember, we talked about in the key of C, it's all white keys, okay? Now, this is where some people get really confused when we talk about 7th chords, because if you had any theory at all, you know that when I play this chord in the key of C, a C major chord, that's called a 1 chord, major 1 chord in the scale degrees, because it's on the 1st degree of the scale. Now, if I go to the 2nd degree of the scale, D, and I play the 3 notes in that triad that are in the key of C, I have D, F, and A. If I listen to that, it's a minor chord. And we call that a 2 chord, and it would be a minor chord. It's a 2 chord. And then we just keep going on, and here's a 3 chord, and the 4th, and the 5th, and the 6th, and then here's where it gets tricky. All of a sudden I hear the 7th, and you say, oh, that's a 7 chord. Well, it's the chord on the 7th degree of the scale in the key of C, yes. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're going to be talking about is adding a 7th to the chords that we're making. Here's what I mean. I was having you play octave Cs, E, and a G, okay? Now, the 7th degree of the scale is, well, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, okay? And if I were just to play C, B, E, G, it's a great sounding chord, and we've heard it all our lives. If you've listened to any pop or rock music, especially pop music of the 70s, you know, you heard that chord a gazillion million times. I use the word gazillion a lot, don't I? Oh well, life goes on. That's a major 7 chord, okay? Because the reason it's called a major 7 chord is because the interval between the root and the 7 is a major. And I'm also playing a major chord above it, okay? So it's called a major 7. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that thumb and we're going to move it not a half step down, but a whole step down. So 2 keys down. Remember we talked in lesson 1 about every key using black keys and white keys is a half step. So we're going to move a whole step, 2 half steps down. So 1, 2, and we're going to play that chord. We've heard that chord a lot. We hear that chord a tremendous amount of times. It's not always voiced like that, but we hear that chord a lot. And so what we have here is a C, a B flat, E, and a G. But wait, Mr. Anello, didn't you say that this was called a C major scale, or a C major? Not a C major, I'm sorry. I'm watching kids play Frisbee outside and I'm distracted. A major 7 chord? Yeah. And didn't you say it was because it had a major 7 for an interval? Yes, but I also said it had a major 3rd in it. So when I do this, we just call that a 7 chord. Because eventually we're going to learn that there's a minor 7 chord. But that's for a later lesson. So this is a 7 chord, dropping that octave a whole step with the thumb in your left hand. Okay? And really, that's all I really want to talk to you about today, is that. Now you can go around, since you did all these, all the way around the circle of fifths, you can go ahead and experiment and say, okay, well, what's it going to be in D? Well, I know that's what I play for D. Now I'm going to go down a whole step with my thumb. And there's that D7 chord, okay? So you can go ahead and experiment with that between now and our next lesson. I'm going to take the weekend off because there's so much to do when you're quarantined. I would never have time to do a lesson. That's sarcasm. So, go ahead and work on that. See if you get the gist of it. We'll review it on Monday, and now I'm going to give you a new exercise to work on. I bet you can figure out the exercise by now. Well, have a great weekend. Stay safe. Keep your hands clean. Don't touch your face. That's a big one for some people. Don't touch your face. Wash your keyboard off. Okay? Have fun. Also, there's a lot of great amateur musicians, semi-professional musicians, that are doing concerts or performances, little performances on Facebook every night. Go ahead and look them up. They'll do a live performance, and then they kind of save it, and you can watch it later. I've got a lot of former students doing this, a lot of colleagues, a lot of old friends. Go ahead and watch them, okay? It's great entertainment. You've probably seen everything on TV 17 times already. You've probably read a few books already. I've done the same. So, until next time, take care. Be safe.